This auditorium is empty now. Soon it's going to be filled with people who need to and want to stop smoking. If you're a smoker, I'm absolutely certain that you've given some thought to stopping. Now is an excellent opportunity for you to do so. I'm Dr. Arthur Weaver, a cancer surgeon, and I've had considerable success in helping people stop smoking. If you'll join the group right here in this auditorium, you also will be able to quit. We're going to give you the principles. We're going to tell you how. We're going to see you through the withdrawal process. I have no question. Join us. You'll make it. Well, you're here, right? This is the night. You waited for this for a long time? All these years, and now you're going to get that monkey off your back? You're going to start smelling nice? You'll smell better tomorrow night than you did tonight, I can guarantee you that. But if we're going to quit smoking, I'll give you my money-back guarantee. Okay, we'll get that right offhand. If you'll come regularly, every night, and if you'll follow the program as we've got it outlined, you'll quit smoking. There's only one person that can keep you from succeeding. You know who that is? That's yourself. Now, we have learned that there are a number of principles that will lead to success, and there are a number of things that will lead to failure. And one of the greatest things that will lead to failure is fear. What do you think are some of the fears that will keep people from stopping smoking? All right, fear of weight gain, sure. That's one of the things that a lot of people are worried about, particularly women. They want to keep that svelte figure. And they say, well, if I'm going to gain 100 pounds of weight, I might as well die of smoking as die of obesity, right? Have you ever heard people talk about that? Well, we're going to spend a whole evening, basically, on telling you how to stop smoking without looking like a beach ball with arms. How to stop smoking without turning into a blimp, you know what I'm saying? We got the principles, and if you listen to them well. But no one will ever gain enough weight so that they will be as much risk after they stop smoking and gain the weight as they would be with continuing smoking. To carry about the same risk as the person who smokes a pack of cigarettes a day, you'd have to gain 80 pounds once you quit smoking. And no one is going to gain 80 pounds. And if you think that you have a tremendous weight problem, I'd like you to talk with me, and I'll give you some personal suggestions and some personal people I know that can help you with the weight problem. Right now, if you're a smoker, your greatest single problem, your greatest single health risk is your smoking habit. So fear of weight gain is one thing. What are some of the other fears that might keep people from stopping smoking? Fear of failure, yes. You've already failed once or twice. You've tried that, you know, the 2019, 18, 17, 16. Said you're going to do it, and then you didn't, and then you went back. Now, the only thing that can keep you from stopping smoking, if you failed before, is failing to try again. And it's true that a lot of people quit and then go back. But if they will grow and learn from their failed experience. When you started walking, do you think you ever fell down? Yeah, if you stayed there on the ground, would you have ever learned to walk? No, you bounce back up and you go right on walking again. Sure, if you failed before, let's grow and learn from the past experience, and let's make this one the time when we opt out, huh? Wouldn't you like to walk out of here next Monday night feeling good about yourself, saying, you know, I finally got this thing. I got it, Doc. I got it. There's not going to be any problem. One of the fun things I have is coming back to the clinics and having people come back that have stopped. And a lot of times, those people come and help me with the program. So I thought I'd introduce you to a couple of people. I don't know whether I can see them or not, but is Karen back there? Yes. You're looking good.
Well, thank you.
Not only that, she smells a lot better than when I first met her.
Oh, yeah. You smell a lot better.
Yeah, you do. You know, the smokers don't know that they stink.
No, they don't. Not at all.
But every non-smoker knows it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the woman, she puts on that little perfume, and she goes walking down the street, and she thinks everybody smells the perfume. They go back and say, well, there goes another smoker. You smell good.
I know everybody at work stinks, but I don't.
Yeah, isn't that good? Now, which program was it you came to?
The first one was here last year.
Oh, you came last year. And what happened?
I was so proficient at it, I came again in November.
Did you get off last year?
Yeah, I did for 5 months.
5 months. Mm-hmm. And then what happened?
And then I started smoking again.
Why?
Probably because I started drinking again. That's my trigger.
That's your trigger?
That's my trigger.
Yeah, well, we'll talk about that as we go along. But it's interesting, isn't it? She got off for 5. Well, you're feeling pretty good then?
Oh, yeah, I was feeling great.
Now, Thursday night, we're going to talk about how to keep on keeping off. Now, you must have forgot that lecture.
Yeah, I probably did. I wasn't paying attention with it.
Went to sleep.
No, I thought I was ready for it, and I wasn't.
Mm-hmm. Anyhow, you got off for 5 months, and that was a learning experience for you. And then what?
Then I started back, and I felt bad because I couldn't exercise anymore. Couldn't do half what I used to do. And then I heard the program was coming on again, and I decided to come again, and it worked again.
And in November, you came to the one in Novi, and you quit again.
Again.
How do you feel about it now?
A lot better. I'm a lot more confident about it.
What do you think you can do differently this time?
Well, I don't drink.
Oh, you
No. No, not at all.
You quit drinking?
Quit drinking, yeah.
Hey.
And I pray a lot.
You pray a lot?
I pray a lot.
You're renewing those spiritual resources?
Yeah, and it helps. It helps a lot.
And what do you think? What's the advice you got for these people here? Is they sitting here nervous tonight and wondering how they're going to make out?
Pay attention. Definitely.
Don't go to sleep.
Don't go to sleep. And it only hurts for about 3 days, and that's the honest to God's truth. After about 7-8 days off of cigarettes, I could actually go one full day, not even think about it.
You think these people are going to love being free from smoking?
They are going to love being free
You
from
think
smoking.
we ought to wind them up here together? You want to help me direct them?
We need to wind them up.
Okay, I'm going to love being free from smoking. There you go. That's good. Let's give Karen a hand. Shall we do that? Is Helen here somewhere? Oh, yes. Now, these are 2 ladies that we're passing out. You see what your risk is when you come here? Because I think I met both of these ladies here at this very spot. She 1 year ago. You how many years ago?
3.
3 years ago. And you had, how much were you smoking?
Oh, about a pack and a half a day.
And you had tried several times to quit?
Oh, I'd quit and started 100 times.
And what made you decide to come to this program?
Well, I got a little note with my paycheck, and I thought, boy, they're trying to tell me something. Everybody don't smoke but me. But I came anyway because I thought maybe it might help me after I got over feeling like somebody was picking on me. So.
And how did the program go for you?
Fine. After about a week or so, I was fine.
And that was 3 years ago?
Mm-hmm. 3 years this month.
And you haven't smoked since?
Not one.
And you feel good about it?
Feel great.
What advice you got for this group?
Just stick in there because you'll make it. And you feel so much better.
You think they're going to love being free from smoking?
Yes, they'll love
Let's
being
try it one more time. We're going to...
Love being free from smoking.
Thank you. All right. Just think, 1 year ago, 3 years ago, they were where you were at, and they're now both free. Isn't that good? Yeah. Don't you want to be that way? And you can be that way. Fears. Any other fears that might keep you from irritability? Yeah. Fear, perhaps, of going through the withdrawal situation. You've done it before, right? And you feel a little miserable. And when you begin to feel miserable, you know all addictions work the same way. You get the drug, you get addicted to the drug, then you don't get the drug, and you feel uncomfortable. And what do you say? If I only had my cigarette, in this case, I would feel better. So 30 times a day you feel kind of miserable. And then you smoke your friendly little suicide machine. And you feel better. And you say, that's my friend. Isn't that the way you think of it? You don't think, that's the thing that made me feel bad. You say, that's the thing that made me feel better. But it was actually the thing that made you feel bad, so it can make you feel better, so it can make you feel bad. 30 times a day you go through that, and pretty soon you begin to think of cigarettes as your friend. When really, it's the cause of your problem. I don't care if you're an alcoholic. The alcoholic feels the same way about his alcohol. If I only had my alcohol, I'd be okay. If I only had my caffeine, I'd be okay. If I only had my amphetamine, my crack cocaine, or whatever it is, they all work the same way. The person who's addicted feels like this is what he needs to be normal. You know, a lot of people think, you know, there's nothing the matter with me that a little nicotine won't fix. I think I have a normal, you know what? I have a nicotine deficiency. And as soon as I get a cigarette or two, I feel okay. Now, in the next day or two, as you're going through this withdrawal, if you feel badly and you say, if cigarettes make me feel that way, boy, am I glad I'm quitting. You understand what I'm saying? Because what makes you feel badly? The program? No. Did we pass you out any pills when you came in? Did we give you any shots on the way out? Did we pass you any flu germs? No. If you feel badly, it's because the cigarettes made you feel badly. So put the blame where it is. When you feel badly and you're going through the withdrawal, say, wow, I'm not going to go through this again. After I get over this once, I'm through. Once and for all. Now that's why we have the program. That's why we're going to be here Tuesday night, Wednesday night, Thursday night, Friday night, to see you through the miseries, okay? Did you ever know it's more fun to go through miseries together than it is to go through them separately? And as you see the people suffering the miseries next to you, you can console each other and commiserate and all those other things that you want to do. And each one of us will be a support system for the other. Isn't that good? Sure. Now, any other fears that are concerning you? Fear of what? Fear of success, okay? He's afraid of success. What will I do with my hands, maybe? What am I going to do with all the money I save? What am I going to do with the extra years of your life? Hey, these are things like I'd like to make decisions on. Wouldn't you? Yeah. Okay, now, we noticed several things. One of them, that assumptions determine our behavior. What assumption can I make that'll cause me to fail? That I'm not going to make it. If I think I'm not going to make it, you think you will? No, highly unlikely. On the other hand, if you know you're going to make it, do you think you will? Without a doubt, you'll make it. So if you know when you leave here tonight that you're on your way, that nothing is going to stop you, this is the time, this is the place, everything's in order, I am going to be a non-smoker, you know what? You will be. Now, how do you make it easy for yourself? Well, the basic way to make it easy for yourself is to make your decision very firmly. Fact is, the firmer you make your decision, the easier it is to quit. You want me to drive by that one more time? Because it's true. Now, let me give you an illustration. Several years ago, my daughter, who's a nurse and her husband's an internist, went mission service to Taiwan. And they left with a couple of boys, and she was pregnant when they left. And she said to us when she left, Daddy and Mama, when we get over there, you got to come see this new baby. She thought that'd be a good excuse to get us over there, you know. So pretty soon she wrote back, and yes, they had a new baby boy. And they kept saying, you've got to come and see your new grandson. And I kept saying to my wife, honey, we got to go see that new grandson. She said, yes, we got to go see that new grandson. Do you think that got us there? No, we just kept talking about it. And nothing much was happening. We got to go, yes, we should go. One day I came home and I said, Snooks, that's what I call my wife sometimes. I said, Snooks. Now listen carefully. I have decided that we're going to Taiwan. Oh, you have? Well, you see, they kept sending these letters telling us how precocious this boy was, how good-looking he was, how much that he reminded them of their grandfather. And that helped me make up my mind, you see. So I said to her, honey, I have decided we're going to Taiwan. Oh, you have? Have you bought the tickets? Yes. And I told them at the office, cancel the office for the month of November. And I told them at the operating room, don't look for me. I'll not be there. You can use that operating room. You think we were on the plane come November 1? Yeah. Why were we on the plane? Because we had decided. But now notice this. We had not only decided, but everything we did afterward, we made in conformity with that decision. Now, if you leave here tonight having decided to quit smoking, and then every step you make afterwards will be in conformity with that decision, it won't be nearly as tough as you think. Now, maybe I can illustrate it by talking about my addiction. Chocolate-covered nuts. I love chocolate-covered nuts. So one time, you see, I take a look at myself in the mirror and I say, honey, I'm getting a little fat. Well, she says, why don't you do something about it? Oh, I say, I think I will. Well, what do you plan to do? Well, I plan to give up all sweets. That's a good idea. But there's one thing I should tell you. What's that? You know your friend Joe? He knew it was your birthday. He knew how much you'd like chocolate-covered nuts. And you know what came in the mail today? A 3-pound box of chocolate-covered nuts. So she brings them out, and I take off the cover, and there it is. Light chocolate and dark chocolate and filberts and pecans. And the aroma comes up out of the box. And in each corner of the box is a stack of turtles. So I say, I really should go on a diet. But I don't know. Ooh, they sure look good. I think I should go on a diet. Oh, shoot, just one. Oh, well, never mind. Before I know what happened, the box is half empty. What was the matter with my decision to go on a diet? It wasn't very firmly made up. Would you agree with that? As soon as the first temptation came along, there I was salivating over these chocolate-covered nuts. Now let's picture it again. Tell my wife I'm going on a diet, and she brings out the nuts, and I say, honey, look, I told you that I was going on a diet. I can't eat those. I wish you'd give those to the kids and have them distribute them in the neighborhood. And I hear the kids holler, whoopee, and the nuts are out the door. And I feel a twinge or two as they go by. But, you know what? They won't drive me nuts over the course of the day. You know why? They're not there, but why aren't they there? Because, you see, I made up my mind firmly. And the fact is, when the nuts went by, I kind of threw my shoulders back and I said, you really did it to them, Arthur. I'm proud of you. You see what I'm talking about, making up our mind firmly? Maybe I could share a parable with you. Now, you understand what a parable is? Parable is a story to illustrate a point. Now, it may not necessarily be a true story. You understand that? Or it could be. But it tells the point. I'll let you decide afterwards whether the parable is fact or fiction, okay? But listen to the parable. I have a friend. I did have a friend. He died, but his name is called John Paul Getty. Did you ever hear of him? Now, John made a lot of money. In fact, he was a multi-billionaire. And before he died, he gave me a ring, and he said, Arthur, you know, he said, I'm sick, and I may not be around long. I'd like to do something good with my money before I check out of this world. He says, I know you're into a lot of health education and that kind of thing. Could you use a little money to help your programs? And I said, John, we surely could. He says, well, how much do you need? I said, John, I think $2 billion would be good. So he sent the money. He figured he couldn't take it with him anyway. So he said, what do you plan to do with it? I said, I plan to use it for motivation. We haven't spent it all yet. So, ladies and gentlemen, I have good news for you tonight. Everyone that's here tonight that can go the next 5 days without a cigarette, I'll give you $1 million. Now, how many think you can make it? Raise your hands. Now, isn't that amazing? Fact is, we would have them lined up behind the platform if we had that $1 million, right? I'll admit that was just a parable. But I think it illustrates the point. Let me ask you a question. If there's $1 million riding on it, do you think you'd carry cigarettes around in your pocket just in case? I guarantee you that everyone here would get that $1 million. Do you believe that? Some of you would say, lock me in the room, slide the food under the door, call me at the end of 5 days. But one way or another, you'd make it. Why? Because, you see, you would consider the trade-off worth it, right? One of the things I've discovered as a cancer surgeon is that frequently smokers get problems that money won't cure. Even the best medical care in the country won't take care of. So now you've got your $1 million, okay? And you're feeling good. I mean, you've checked into a condo down on Myrtle Beach or down in Florida somewhere. You're thinking about getting a small yacht. I mean, things are looking up pretty good, right? Yeah, you've just resigned your job because you didn't want to do that anymore. And then, something wrong with my throat. I wonder what that is. So you check in with your friendly family physician. He looks down there and he says, I don't like what I see. I'm going to send you to a specialist. I think I'll have you go see Dr. Weaver. So you come over to my office. I look down your throat. I said, I don't like what I see either. That looks like a bad cancer you got there. Let me biopsy it. And we'll get a report for you, and we'll let you know in a couple of days what it shows. It's not a very pleasant situation. I told a patient that today. Report comes back. This is a rare kind of tumor. It's a bad one. Up till now, it's been 100% lethal, but there is a new treatment just came out for it. It's kind of expensive. It's going to cost you $1 million. Would you pay it? Yeah, and be tickled to death that you had the $1 million with which to get it? I don't know whether you've seen where I've taken you or not, but you can do something for yourself in this clinic that could be worth more to you than $1 million. I've got patients in the hospital today that would give me everything they could come up with if I could guarantee them they'd not die of that cancer. Some of them will. And practically all of the cancers with which I deal are cigarette-induced cancers. I was talking with one of my interns today. He'd just been home and said it was the first Christmas without Mom. His dad's a physician. I said, what'd she die from? Lung cancer. He says, I tried for years to get her to stop smoking. He said it was a lonely Christmas. I mean, that's pathetic, don't you think? And I've run into a lot of pathos. You get me preaching sometimes, but you put up with that, will you? Because, I mean, it's sort of sad when you stop to think that people will get diseases that could easily be prevented by making appropriate decisions. Remember one day, a patient says, Doctor, you've got to get me out of this hospital for 2 weeks. Give me IVs, give me chemotherapy, do anything for me, but just get me out of here for 2 weeks. If I have to come back then and die, okay, but I got to have 2 weeks. I said, that's a peculiar request. Why is that? Well, my only daughter, my great love, is getting married. And I got to go to that wedding. They canceled the wedding and held his funeral. I mean, that's pathos. You can do something for yourself in this clinic that even $1 million might not be able to buy for you. Are you listening to me? And only you can do that for yourself. Now, you've wanted to stop smoking for a long time, haven't you? Now, we've got everything lined up here. The ducks are in a row, all right? All we've got to do is make it work. How many here find the cigarette habit too expensive? Let me see your hand. Yeah, I really feel so sad. You know, I pull up to a gas station, and I go in there and to pay for my gas, and here comes some poor soul and says, give me 3 packs of cigarettes and $2 worth of gas. No, that's not a joke. I heard that this morning when I bought gas. And I felt a lot of pathos for the poor fella that had to take that money and put it in his cigarettes to ruin his life when he could have just, well, put it in his gas tank and wouldn't have to come back for 2 days. I mean, isn't it sick when you stop to think about it? I mean, it's sad. Yeah, it costs you too much money. Well, how many of you would like to be rid of the health risk of smoking? Let me see your hand. Oh, isn't that good? How many would like to get so people would say, wouldn't say to them, you got to get that stinking stuff out of here. What are you trying to do? Would you like to kind of do that? How many of you smokers would like to kiss your non-smoking spouse without them having to kiss last year's bird's nest? Yeah. Well, are you ready to do it? Have you brought your cigarettes? Have you brought all those ashes and butts that I told you to get rid of? Take a smell of those things before. Yeah, now just let me have your attention a minute so we can explain to you how we're going to do this. I have back here a big trash can. Now listen carefully. We have a big group, and we want to do this as... Sound like a bunch of kids in kindergarten here. We want to do this as efficiently as possible. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to start with these outside rows, and they're going to come into the middle aisle, up the stairs, drop how many of their cigarettes? All of them. Don't stow them under the seat or put them in the back of your purse. We're going to dump them all, okay? Do you love being free from smoking? Yes. Let's say it again. I love being free from smoking. And go for it. Come on, let's go. Woo-hoo. Here they come. Your blood pressure will be good. Well, my only fear is how do you get a toxic dumping permit? I don't know what landfill will accept this. We may have to call in the, the Environmental Protection Agency or something. This really stinks up here, ladies and gentlemen. I don't smell too well, but that's bad. Well, we hope I won't die of consumption before the evening is done. But I'm proud of you. How do you feel about it now? Anybody a little... nervous about it all? Well, it's like getting rid of an old girlfriend that was out to murder you.
Or a wife?
Yep. You love being free from smoking, even for the last few minutes? Yeah. We're on our way. It may not be easy over the next few days, but we're going to see you through it, okay? We're going to be here every night. We're going to help those that are having problems. I've got several helpers here, people that have been through it before. They understand what's going on, and they will try to give you the help you need, okay? Let's just open our booklets here a bit and talk about a few things. Well, you can see the first page of the booklet. The booklet is the property of, why, I guess you know who that is. It's now yours. Turn to the next page where it says, people I can call for help. I would suggest that each of you choose someone between now and the time you go to bed who is a non-smoker, who can be your support person, someone who understands you, someone who will not pamper you. I suggest it not be your spouse. You're too used to making excuses to them. But choose someone and call that person and tell them, you're going to be my support person. You understand? And you write their phone numbers there, their work phone and everything. And you keep touch with them every day. I want these to be someone who will encourage you, not discourage you. All right. Now we'll turn past a few things here to page 1 where it says, my choice. I'm choosing of my own free will to attend the Breathe Free plan to stop smoking. And what does it say there? I love being free from smoking. And this is sort of a signature there for yourself. You'll know what you've done. I will skip the next few pages there because you won't need those smoking patterns. And we come to the section called 16 Weapons to Kill an Urge. And no urge can survive all 16 steps. And in addition to this, listen carefully, I'm going to give you a secret weapon that isn't even in the book. And it works great. All right, now, I should also tell you that starting on page 20, for those of you who have completed the smoker's type questionnaires, that there are different techniques for different type smokers. If you're the stimulation type, there's suggestions on page 20. If you're the handling type, there's a suggestion on page 21, etc. Okay? So there's special help there when you know what type of smoker you are. Well, let's turn back to page 7 and take a little look at some of these issues. Now, when you have an urge to have a cigarette, you think you'll have some of those? Yeah, you'll have a lot of those. So we got to knock them down, right? We got to knock them down. And I'm going to suggest that when the urge comes up, you start with number 15. And what do you say? I love being free from smoking. Even though I feel this urge, I'm not going to go back, you know? I've made this decision. I love it. But was that a good idea to have a cigarette or a bad idea? Bad idea. And that's where we need the secret weapon. And that's the only aversive thing we got. And when you came in, we gave you your door prize, a little rubber band. So when you have that urge to have a cigarette, you see, what do you say? I love being free. But you know that was a bad idea. You got it? You give that thing a good big snap on your wrist like that, you know? Now, if the urge is coming too fast, you put one on each wrist. Maybe you put one on the foot. Or a big heavy-duty job around your neck. But if you'll do it honestly, it works. Because, you see, you have pleasant thoughts with the idea of a cigarette, right? We'd like to make that an unpleasant thought. And that will psychologically drive down the urges. You see, pretty soon the urge will start to come up, I don't want a cigarette. I know I don't want a cigarette. I wouldn't even think of a cigarette. And if you do that, excuse me, if you do that efficiently, it'll drive down the urge. Some people have told me that was the most helpful thing in the whole program. I was driving down the freeway one day, and a fellow behind me was honking his horn. And he kept honking his horn. And he kept honking his horn. And I wondered, what was I doing? And, you know, with freeway shootings and all those things, I began to get a little uneasy. And after a while, he went past me. And when he went past me, he held up his hand, and I saw a big rubber band around his wrist, and he went like this. And I recognized him. He was actually the producer from one of the TV stations in town who'd been to a recent Stop Smoking program. And I knew who he was, so I gave him a call. And I said, man, you got to be a little careful with that honking on the freeway. You scare somebody. Oh, he said, I wanted you to see my rubber band. He said, that's the thing that got me through. He said, when I die, I'm going to be buried with that thing on my wrist. And when they dig up my skeleton, they're going to say, I wonder what the cultural significance of this rubber band is. He said, that was the best part of the whole program. If you use it effectively, it will work. But it only works if you work it. So when you have an urge, what do? You say, I love being free from smoking. And then give yourself a good crack. Then try some of these other things. Drink a glass of water or fruit juice. You'll find in your book it suggests 6 to 8 glasses of water a day. You heard what I said, didn't you? 6 to 8. Don't be like one lady. She came back and she said, Doctor, I could only get in 47. I said, what? She said, you said 68, didn't you? 6 to 8. You got it. 6 to 8 glasses of water. Take some big, deep breaths. Maybe you can practice that right there. Smokers kind of forget they have lungs if they don't smoke. Well, just take some big, deep breaths. People find that very relaxing. One of the most important things is when the urge comes, stall, split, get up, go for a walk. If you can go outside, go outside. Spin around a little bit. Remember this, the urge to have a cigarette comes in waves. Now, some of you are going to think you're on the beach during Hurricane Hugo. I mean, the waves are going to be kind of high, and they're going to be kind of frequent and kind of inundating. But did you ever go swimming in the ocean? You know, you're standing there kind of hip deep in water, and all of a sudden this big swell comes in, and the ground disappears from underneath you, and you start splashing around. You think you're going to be carried out to sea. The sharks are going to get you. You wonder what's happening, and you're really alarmed, and then all of a sudden the swell goes by, and there you are, hip deep in water again. Have you ever had that experience? Well, the same thing will happen now that you're quitting smoking. You think, that's the time to split. Get out, get a drink of water, get a drink of fruit juice, take some deep breaths, call your support buddy. You see, we got all those things there. Stretching exercises, calisthenics, count backwards, starting from 100. That'll take you a while. Work on a hobby. Brush your teeth with mint toothpaste. Take a warm shower followed by a cool shower. Then rub the body gently with a washcloth, etc. A lot of things there. You can read them. We'll talk a little bit more about them tomorrow night. If you do all of those things before you smoke, you know what? The urge will be gone, and you say, got rid of that one. If it didn't go away, pop this one 2 or 3 more times, and that'll get rid of it. All right, let's turn to page 30 of your booklet. Make it 31. And we'll talk about the menu plan, okay? Now, you remember we suggested to you to stock up on fruit and fruit juices. And that's a good thing to know, because now is when you're going to need it. And unless your doctor has you specially on a special diet for ulcerative colitis, diabetes, or something of that nature, hypoglycemia, for the next 24 hours, I want you to have nothing but fruit and fruit juices, particularly the fruit juices. I didn't say 24 days. I said 24 hours. 24 hours, yeah. Have what? And water. Fact is, that's all you get. Now, I know one lady came in one night after she had all that fruit juice and water, and I heard her walk by. I could hear her sloshing. Fact is, someone said to me, "Doctor, now I know what they mean when they talk about the wee hours of the morning." Because actually, the nicotine is excreted by your kidneys. And we're going to flush the system. It actually takes about 3 days to get it out of there. And while you're getting that out, you're going to go through the nicotine withdrawal miseries. But if you drink this fruit juice, it'll make it a lot better and a lot easier, particularly for the first day. So the first day, what do we get? Fruit juice. And if you have to break over, have some fruit. Okay? Now, we'll give you more to eat later. Now, there's some things that you can't have. Number one of them is alcoholic beverages. Stash that stuff. Whether it's beer, wine, whiskey, brandy, or whatever it is, put it away. And if you can't put it away for a few days, you're at the wrong program. No, I'm serious. If you're a chronic alcoholic and you can't leave off alcohol, you have a problem you need to take care of first. That's the alcoholism. It's very difficult to stop smoking while you continue drinking. So check in with your friendly Alcoholics Anonymous or some other group such as that. But leave the alcohol off. What is it? 7 Crown, 3 Roses, 2 Old Crows, all of that stuff. Beer, wine, whiskey, brandy. Put it away. Stash it, smash it, hide it. Because you think alcohol is going to give you more willpower? It's going to drive the willpower down while it drives the urge up. And pretty soon they're going to cross, and there you'll be smoking again. Now, you came here to quit, didn't you? And all of you folks are feeling so smug about the alcohol, now we're going to start on you. The same thing is true of all caffeinated beverages. And you know what those are? Coffee, tea, Coke, Pepsi, Mountain Dew, Dr. Pepper, Tab, and I don't know how many others. But with all of the fruit juice and water you're drinking, you know what? You won't need any other beverages. Now, I'll tell you what. You say, "Doctor, I came here to stop smoking. I didn't come here to quit drinking coffee and alcohol." There's one reason why our program works, and it's because everything in this program has been tested. I should tell you just briefly a little bit about this program. It really started as a 5-day plan several years ago by a Seventh-day Adventist pastor and a physician. It's been redone, and then I've worked it over. And there's millions of people who have quit through this program. Don't you want to be the next one? Yeah, you want to be the next one. And that means if you really want to succeed, get on the program. How many have tried their own program before? Basically, it didn't work. Don't you think you could try our program for the next 5 days and see if it would work for you? I'll tell you, I've had people come to 3 programs before they decide to give up their caffeine. And they came back on the 3rd program and they said, "You know, I've been here twice before, doctor, and it didn't work. You think it'll work this time?" I said, you plan to do anything different this time? I think I might give up my coffee. Hey, why not do it this time, huh? Because, let me share this with you. We have discovered that the biggest correlation between success and failure is, did you give up your caffeine? Of all the things we ask you to do, this will more likely determine whether you're going to make it or not. You know it as well as I do. Are you kidding? Isn't it? Moonlight and roses, coffee and a cigarette, right? Yeah. They go together. Just like love and marriage. And when you have that cup of coffee, it's just going to drive you nuts. I've had people walk in that have been off for 4 or 5 days, and they tell me, doctor, I came to the clinic not because I need to smoke, but because I'm going nuts. I'm twisting in a breeze. And I said, well, you didn't give up your caffeine, did you? Oh, I didn't know. Was I supposed to give it up? I said, well, if you're twisting the breeze, obviously you didn't give it up. You don't want to twist in the breeze, right? You want to go through it. It has another advantage, too. You may sleep 3 days. Fact is, there was one lady I was talking to on the second day, and I said, how's it going? She said, I only had a few bad times. I said, when was that? She said, when I woke up. Well, you stick with us, and we'll see you through it. No one said it'd be easy tomorrow, did we? But you're here, right? You plan to come back, right? I'm going to make a contract with you. Would my helpers pass out that contract right now, quickly? I'll tell you while they're passing out my part of the contract. Be the good Lord willing, I'll be here Tuesday night, Wednesday night, Thursday night, Friday night, and next, could I have one of those too, Floyd? I might need one. Thank you. Next Monday night. I've given you this piece of my life, okay? Because I care. I ask that you do the same thing. And we're going to ask you to see if you'll sign this agreement with me as soon as you have this piece of paper. Maybe while we're waiting on it, I can start talking. And you can check them as you're able to. Now, if you're willing to agree to the things that I ask you to agree to, you just put a little X there or a little check, okay? I agree to attend all sessions of the program. If you're willing to do that, put an X. That's all remaining sessions. I agree to complete all class assignments. You got a couple tonight. If you're willing to cooperate by that, put a little X there. I agree to keep in daily telephone contact with my support person. I agree to follow a lifestyle that will help me remain a non-smoker, help me become one and remain a non-smoker. And that means following some of the suggestions I just gave you, if you're willing to do that. If you've not already stopped, are you willing to quit cold turkey now? Put an X there. If you're willing to respond to a short questionnaire or a phone call so that we can continue to evaluate these programs, please check it. And if you're willing to accept at least one opportunity after this clinic is over to help someone else in the community with a stop smoking program or something else, you check that. Okay? And then you print your name, you sign it, you date it, and you give us your daytime phone. Now let me say this. What is our goal between now and tomorrow night as far as cigarettes? None. Let me also tell you, it's easier to have no cigarettes than it is 1, 2, or 3 cigarettes. Let's go back to my candy illustration. Would it be easier to have one piece of candy from that box or no pieces of candy from that box? It's the same way with cigarettes. When you take that cigarette, it turns you back into a smoker again. And then you've got to withdraw from that one too, in addition to the one you were drawing from before, and it's a little bit like going into labor and not delivering the baby. It isn't very pleasant. Yeah. So the goal is what? No cigarettes. Now, if you happen to slip, should you abandon ship? No, come on back anyway. Listen, we guarantee to get you off one way or another. We even have a live-in stop smoking program for people who can't make it any other way. A health camp, I'll tell you about that later. But you're here. Somebody's already volunteered. Well, listen here. Our job is to get you off now, but in any case, don't abandon us, all right? Don't abandon us. Come back even if you have to sit on the floor. Wasn't that bad, was it? No. You think it's worth it? I'll tell you, better to sit on the floor than lie on the operating table. Whew, got 2 of them scheduled for tomorrow. Okay. How you feeling? You feeling good? Do you love being free from smoking? I love being free from smoking. Now, we'll be back here tomorrow night, right? In our usual place, and we're going to have a lot of fun. We may feel miserable, but we'll still be having fun. God bless you, and good night.